What is up, Arsenal fam? Welcome to the chat with...
What's going on? I'm Rob.
And I'm Chad, and we're here to chat with you. Hey, we're glad you're here today. We are excited. Just got to have a really cool meeting.
Very cool meeting.
I'm pretty stoked about kind of where we're going and what's happening at the Arsenal. So we're excited, and we're here to chat. So let us know you're here. Tell us you're here in the chat, that you're at the chat. Let us know in the chat.
That you're at the chat.
On
we
YouTube
got all kinds of
and Facebook.
awesome people here already. Curtis Ribble is here. Sarah's here.
What up, Curtis?
Maddie's here. Jenny Johnson. Matt is in the chat already.
Matt, what's up, man? We got all kinds of people here today. Curtis actually stopped by here last week.
Yeah, I saw the picture of, I guess, were those his daughters?
Yeah.
Like,
and then
by our sign out
you
front.
had just left, and he came back by with the family, and we talked for a few minutes. But Curtis pastors an awesome church. It's Venture Church, right?
I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that's right. I don't know where it's at, though. I forget now.
Let us know, Curtis.
It's in a small town in Texas.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what town that is. Let us know if you're still here. Hey, we're excited. We're ready to do this thing. Curtis said, "Yep, yeah." So it is Venture. I don't remember where. I'm terrible friend.
The worst.
Horrible.
Graham, Texas.
Graham,
Venture Church.
that's it. That's right. I knew
If you're ever in or around Graham, Texas,
go
on
check
a Sunday,
them out.
Venture Church is your spot.
Yeah, they're part of our GCCM family, gospel circle of churches and ministries that we do with our friends up at Calvary Church, and Venture Church out in Graham is one of them. So, what up? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. How's your Wednesday? It's Hump Day. It's Hump Day. Remember that commercial with the camels walking through? Hey, it's Hump Day. All right. Anyway, how you doing? How's your Wednesday going? We're
got some fun questions.
We're jumping some questions today. I got my Spurs hoodie on. Rob's got his gold hoodie on. We're just San Antonio today.
Got my Graybird cap
Gray
on.
Bird. Let's go. This is Gurun Brothers. You wear my hat company. I don't. I need to do that. I need to wear that. This is a cool one. This is Spurs, but also like I think it was for like Indigenous People Day.
Oh, cool.
That Patty Mills did.
Yeah.
Yeah, people of the earth. I don't know. It's super cool. Anyway, all right. Enough about our clothing and apparel. Let's get into some questions. We're going to start off with a good one, but also maybe one that produces anxiety in some people.
Matt, like already answered the question.
How did he see it?
I don't know, but he already answered the question.
Huh?
Matt says Christmas shopping is done.
Well, that's the question of the day. Have you started Christmas shopping? And Matt already has finished. Oh, Sarah, that is awesome. Sarah said that Vince got home today and we surprised the girls at school, so that was fun.
Oh, man,
I bet that was super
good
cool.
stuff.
Because Vince was deployed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really aware of what his deployment schedule has been like over the last several months and all that, but yeah, I mean he goes for quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
Curtis is 90% complete with Christmas shopping.
90%. That's good.
That's real good.
Guys, we just started December. What are you guys doing? Why are you already shopping?
I'm about 20% done, but I've blown through about 90% of my budget. So.
Oh, that's a problem.
No, it was I had items that were going to be more expensive, and now it's kind of like the smaller things, but it's more, so it was like big things, and now I have other small things that need to get done.
We're halfway done with our Christmas shopping.
That's what Maddie just said, halfway done.
That's why I say we're halfway done.
Oh, you read her comment.
Maddie said she's halfway done, so I figure we're halfway done.
Jenny Johnson's almost done.
Look at you guys.
Oh, Sarah doesn't even have a tree up yet. They were.
We
you
were
guys were waiting to do that with Vince.
Totally makes
Vince
sense.
comes home, put the tree up together.
Now he's home. Ada said, "Where's your Southtown hoodie?" I wore the Southtown hoodie probably 3 days in a row this week, so that hoodie gets a lot of wear. I'm ordering a new one. I have two at home already. I'm gonna order. So a lot of you guys like nobody's ordered a white one yet, but I don't know if you guys knew that we were doing white ones. There's a picture on there, but we did white with black lettering that I lost mine in Atlanta like a couple years ago. So I'm for sure getting me a white one.
I think I'm going to get one of each.
Ada also said she's a last minute kind of gal. So Ada, me too. But Maudie
called you out.
Maudie's keeping us on point. By us, it's because we're married. We're like one.
You saw her comment. She's like, "We."
Yeah. Oh, did she say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we. we're one, right? Isn't that how this works?
I mean, someone has to supply the emotional support for the person who's doing the shopping and have the creative ideas and.
Yeah, I need to get on that creative idea part, but well, I don't know, Maudie. We actually have an app that I downloaded.
He downloaded the app.
I downloaded the app, sent it to Maudie, and said, "Hey, we should use this." It was for grocery lists, but she's gone ahead and made a Christmas list out of it. Let me see what we're getting you. Oh, Rob, you're not on a Christmas list.
Dang.
I'll add you on here.
DeMarcus says Chad is just as surprised as the kids when they open their gifts.
No, I mean, I usually at least like try to help wrap. But there are definitely gifts that I'm just as surprised as they are. That's totally true. Not going to lie. Whatever, DeMarcus.
Got him.
College students. So, hey, most of you guys have already done it. Except for Ada, she's a last-minute kind of gal, and I can respect that. I think that adds to the Christmas spirit, right? Having to run through the store and find what you need. Like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Inevitably, let's be. I'm just going to be real open and vulnerable with you. Maudie will have bought all the gifts, and Christmas Eve, I'm going to be like, oh, man, I got to go get something for Maudie. So maybe I should.
You're going to do better this year.
Maybe I'm going to order something now.
What?
But
that's a good idea.
Maudie and I always have this, like, hey, don't get anything. Like, we're not going to get each other stuff for Christmas.
Just order a
gift.
But
we always say that, but usually I'll get something. For a long time, I would get like really nice gifts, but that's when I was working at a motorcycle shop and I made like a lot more money. Now I got to just be creative on what I get.
Maudie wants to know when the last time you wrapped something was.
Oh, it's messed up. Probably last Christmas. I don't know, birthdays.
Sarah says she has shopped on Christmas Eve before. I have also.
Oh, for sure.
You know where for like little kids, if you're shopping for little kids on Christmas Eve, the one that's always open is good old Walgreens, and then they have like those $5 remote control cars or something.
Like, this will work.
And then some like socks or footy pajamas.
Does it really matter? The kids are gonna break it anyway or not use it. If it comes in a box, that's all that matters because the box will be the toy. Jenny Johnson said, "My husband will know," because he said. She's replying to DeMarcus's where he said that I'd be just as surprised as the kids. She said, my hubby will know because I've bragged on the bargains I've found.
Right. That's me too. Like anytime I get a good deal, like, I don't know. I met a guy and he's like, oh man, I like those shoes. I was like, they were $39. Can you believe it?
Ada said I end up with a lot of gift cards, like giving a lot of gift cards.
Oh,
a wall of gift cards.
Hey, dude. Hey. Gift cards are fantastic.
Yeah, gift cards and cash. I'm all for it. That's all I need. But yeah, that's good. So you guys are way ahead of the game. So proud of you. Let's give him a round of applause there, DeMarcus. Yes, round of applause.
Overall, it's a pretty solid
overachievers.
Yeah,
I'd like to know what you guys are getting me for Christmas. But you can put that in the chat if you'd like. All right, next question. Here we go. This one we're gonna, as per the usual, when we didn't want to do all Christmas questions because we've got a few weeks till Christmas and we need to save some of our Christmas questions.
We can only think of so many questions. I mean,
yeah. So we've got one that is it's a little different, but you're gonna see why we're asking it. But also like. I'm terrible at this, so I just want to see like where everybody stands. So the question is this. Am I supposed to read this one? I'll let you read that one.
I can read it.
All right.
How long does it typically take you to reply to a text message?
So when somebody texts you, are you the type of person that like you reply right away? are like 3 days later.
So, and obviously, like let's just get this out of the way up front. Depends on the text,
who it is.
It could vary greatly, because if it's a really important text or like something that takes like a thoughtful answer, obviously you got to give it a little more time,
right? But just in the grand
like
scheme of things,
an average text, like
I think you know if you're a good texter or not.
Yeah.
Like, are you good
and
at
I think
replying?
I'm okay. I'm not great. There are times where I'm like, oh shoot. You know, like,
typically, like if one of your kids has your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, if you text me, one of my kids might have my phone, or there's no telling. Yeah.
Ada says I reply right away. She's a right away replier. That's good. I'm not.
Matt replies when he sees the text. Sarah depends on the person who sent it. Yep. I mean, there obviously are times where I'm just like, "Are you kidding me?" And just like put my phone down.
So here's what I'm bad about. I'll see a text message, I'll read it, and then I'll be in the middle of something and I just won't reply, and then I forget.
Yeah.
And I like right now, Sarah said Rob takes a week.
What?
Getting called out. Oh man, that's funny. Right now, like I've got 1, 2.
Jenny's almost instantly, generally.
I've got 3 text messages that I need to reply to. One of them was yesterday. One of them I got yesterday at 9:40 p.m. and I haven't replied yet. And the bad thing is, like, look, if you look at my phone, like I don't have any like unread text messages. So that's where it gets me in trouble, because I've read the text message, I just haven't replied yet.
Yeah.
And I have to go back and like scroll through my messages and be like, oh man, I forgot to reply to, this person. And
right. You know what I am bad at though is like involving myself in group texts. Like my family, all of my siblings and my parents group text all the time. And like I read it and sometimes I'll like something, but I'm rarely like right now there's my family has this whole like thing going on, and oh no, that wasn't it. So here's my family text.
Wow, you haven't replied at all.
Somewhere up here there's a reply. But
that's a lot of text messages.
I know.
You ha-ha'd a couple of them.
Yeah.
I love that part of the Apple, like
yes.
of the iMessage. I can just like react to it, like give you a thumbs up or haha.
Oh shoot.
But I did you just like one? But I always wonder, like, if I ha to your text, do I also have to reply? Does that count as a reply?
Well, see, that's what I don't know, because like, hey, I ha-ha'd, and then you just stopped. Are we done with this particular?
Yeah. Is the ha like? Is that enough? Let's see what else we got. Jenny Johnson said generally almost instantly.
Oh, there. Look, I replied here.
Rob did
that whole time. I was.
Rob
looking.
Does take weeks, apparently. Sarah.
Apparently, I had an Android. It was so long ago. I had an Android or something.
Oh wow, that was a long time ago.
I don't. Nah, maybe something was just wrong with my.
DeMarcus said he got the happy Thanksgiving text and didn't respond until this Monday. That's you're like, oh shoot, I didn't respond right now, right? Deb, me too, don't do well with group text. Yeah, like I'm not a big group text guy.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy that like laughs at stuff or like thumbs up stuff, but I'm not typically heavily involved in the group text. And then like I never know, like I was texting a buddy last night. He asked me like how Thanksgiving was. I asked him, I answered and then asked him how his was. He told me, and then like I just didn't text back. I was like, are we done? Do I need to reply? What? Maybe I should have like thumbs up at it.
A little strange.
I don't know how to end the conversation. Thoughtful answer. So Ada said, thoughtful answers, I'll call. I don't want tendinitis of the thumbs. So I'm not a fan of group text, especially from work.
When stuff needs to be like really explained. Also, a lot of times if I don't know if there's any sarcasm involved or
Yeah.
like you just like sometimes you got to just make the call.
You have to use a sarcasm font.
Yeah.
They need that needs to be a thing. Why haven't we had that?
We need like or just an emoji, the one with SpongeBob when he's like,
Yeah. Just that's the emoji and then it's the word and then that like captions it like
Yeah.
like it's like the caption but it's like for sarcasm.
It just automatically makes it like lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, uppercase.
Come on, Apple. What are we doing here?
Deb says she never knows when texting is done
either. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like,
are we done?
all right, bye.
I was just texting Monty right before the chat, and she was like, "Get on the chat," like in all caps. Like, oh yeah, I got to go do that.
There's a thing.
I forgot we had that. No, we were in a meeting. I'll let you guys know because you're our chat people, and you can do that. But
chat people are the best.
We were in a meeting with our architect and project manager for our building remodel, and we got to see the newest renderings and kind of idea of where we're going. And
we're honing in on.
We are super excited.
Yeah, we're honing in on like what we need to actually get started. I think we have a pretty good general idea of what our building's going to look like,
which is exciting.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome, and yeah, it'll just be a place where we get to continue and really just like empower our ministry.
Yeah,
and what's going on here.
Definitely going to fit our neighborhood better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super exciting. We'll show you guys pictures and stuff very soon. But yeah, that's where we were. Like Rob was like, "Hey, we have 6 minutes. We're supposed to be online." So, hey, so most of you guys, it seems like, are pretty good texters. Like you reply pretty instantly, and that's cool. And so here's what we've done, because I feel like most of us we text more than anything else. Like that is how the majority of us communicate at this point.
Yeah.
And
I think
so
my email is just becoming one giant like spam filter.
Yeah. Oh man, I get so many emails like from newsletters I've signed up for, like.
But it's so easy to like opt out of like text messages you don't want.
I know.
Like,
Can I just stop?
Yeah.
But on an email, you have to like scroll down, find the unsubscribe, then it takes you to a website.
Yeah.
Then you got to tell them why you don't like their stuff.
And then your inbox is still full of like all of these emails from that.
Like, no, just delete all of them. Like,
I don't want those.
So text messages have become kind of the way that we communicate, and it's personal, like we're texting back and forth.
And we don't leave text messages unread like we do emails.
Oh yeah, I leave.
You
so
don't
many
miss them.
Unread.
You generally get the notification, unless your kid has your phone like me, that like, hey, text message, you got it, and then you read it like right then usually.
Hey, we got special guest on YouTube right now.
Who's that?
Leonardo Torres
Leo!
Music. Leo in the house. What's up, man?
Hey.
Oh, stoked to have you, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I get his notifications. So Leo's a phenomenal just person, but he's got an awesome YouTube page where he does like music reactions.
Yeah.
And I get the notifications. I'm like he set a reminder. I got to watch this, and I got to get on again yesterday. And
nice.
I think it was an NF song, which was
cool.
dope. But
if you don't know Leonardo, go to his YouTube channel, subscribe, and it's definitely worth
it for sure.
It, yeah.
Leonardo said, "Don't call me, text me." LOL.
Yeah, that was kind of an alternate version of this question that we had talked about.
Yeah.
Like, would you rather be called or texted?
Yep. Always, like, if you can send it in a text, like, don't call me. You know what I mean?
Right,
like, if it's like, hey, I did this, or hey, I'm gonna do this, or hey, what do you think about this? Just text it like that. Unless you need an answer like immediately, like if you don't get an answer, you're gonna be like standing at the store like ordering stuff, like just waiting on me. But yeah, text. I'm all about that. Ada says that Leonardo was her gateway to the Arsenal, which is incredible because she saw us through Leonardo's YouTube page while she was living in California, because I did an interview with Leonardo on the Convo on YouTube a while back, and she saw us on that, and then ended up moving to San Antonio.
Oh, right.
And now lives here and is part of the women's group and stuff. And so
That's awesome.
Super cool. Thanks, Leo, for
we had a lot of people get connected with our community
through that for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody just walked in.
The cleaning ladies are here.
Sweet. Yeah. So, all right, here we go. Yeah. So texting has been a big deal, and so we love it, and we want to be able to communicate with you. We want to lean into that.
Yeah.
And so you on the chat get to be the first ones to do this. So here's what I want you to do. Shoot us a text, and we will text you back. It's this phone number that's on the screen. It's 210-794-8962. And if you shoot us a text message, we'll text you back. And the goal for this is like, we want to use this to communicate and not just like put announcements out. Like this is like, hey, Rob has like this like Holy Spirit revelational thought. That's deep.
Yeah,
and he's gonna be like, hey.
I get those once every like 2 years.
He's like, hey, don't forget today, God loves you.
Yeah.
And like we just we want to be able to text with you and encourage you during the day and stay connected. And so this is another cool way for us to do that. So text us 210-794-8962, and we'll text you back. It'll come to us. We'll text you and reply to you. So do that. Deb said that Leonardo connected her to the Arsenal as well, which Deb's been fun. Deb is in North Dakota.
Is that right? North Dakota,
I think, which is just super crazy.
It's probably cold up there right now.
Yeah. So shoot us a text message. This is a way we can stay connected from anywhere, and so we're excited about this. I'm excited to be able to text people. I got you.
Oh, thanks. You're gonna get all kinds of like great stuff with the texting too. I mean, we're not gonna bombard you, but we're gonna make sure everything that comes to you via text is gonna be something like good for you. Good stuff.
Yeah, we all need encouragement right now, so I'd love to be able to just kind of drop some encouragement.
Random encouragement.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, and not a 30-minute message, just a
quick text,
a quick text or video. Yeah, all that stuff. So it'll be fun. We're excited about that. So hit us up on that text message. All right, do we have another question? I don't think we put a fourth question in.
No, we talked about a fourth question, but we never really honed it in because we're in a sermon series right now that's about God with us.
Mm-hmm.
This is, and a lot of times that's a theme around the this time of year. We're coming up on Christmas. Jesus is born. God is with us, and I mean, maybe we could just say, like, what does that phrase mean to you? What is the idea of God with us mean to you now? Not just looking back as like, hey, great Christmas story, baby Jesus, but like, okay, well, what is that? Why is that important to you? What's the significance of God becoming man, or even just the phrase God with us? What does that mean to you?
That's good. That's a good question.
Just
off the top of your head. Can you type that in, the fourth question? Just a shortened version of it. So yeah, what does God with us mean to you? I don't know, Rob, what does it mean to you?
I kind of look at the Christmas story and the idea of God becoming man. It's definitely this. There's a verse that said, he didn't consider equality with the Father something to be grasped, but there's this idea of God humbling himself, which is a crazy idea. If you talk to anybody, and I've had this exact conversation with a Muslim that I met, and his problem with Christianity was that he said, I cannot grasp a God who would be a man, or a God that would allow himself to be crucified. Like he goes, I just, because this idea of God is so lofty and high and distant, and the idea of God becoming man is God humbling himself, and he became like us.
Right.
And I think in most religions, the idea is you must become like them for your acceptance. But instead, what God did is he came down, became like us, and has essentially like lifted all of us up, on his shoulders.
Yeah.
He was like, instead of us trying to climb up to him, he came down and swooped us up is kind of what hits me. But then also on the other side, when I just hear the phrase "God with us," I also think of the idea that God is always close and he's always united with us. And maybe plug a little book here, In Our Worst Moments.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I know which one you're talking about.
In Our Worst Moments, he's with us.
Which book is that?
Well, I don't want to get the title wrong. John Lynch's book.
On My Worst Day.
On My Worst Day.
On My Worst Day. That's what I thought you were going.
John Lynch has a book, On My Worst Day, and I think he just did an updated version of it. Hop over to Amazon, pick up On My Worst Day by John Lynch.
Yeah, it's the new one. I think it's a blue cover, and he wrote it years ago, but he's done a refresh version with new stories and stuff in it. It's phenomenal. So
if you don't know John, like honestly, with John, his writing is phenomenal, but when you listen to him speak, I think if you go to his website, johnlynchspeaks.com, is that right? He's got like some YouTube videos, links to his books and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. Like his speaking blows me away.
Yeah.
Like the first time I heard him speak was at the 220 conference that we went to. And I just wanted to like, I don't know, like just lay down. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, like just lay down, and when he's done, I could go to sleep, and that was it. But like I don't know, he's a really phenomenal communicator, and the content is always on point.
Yeah.
But the book, anyway. But that's what I think of is that on my worst day, in my worst moment, it was a really revelationary thought to think about. Oh, God is still close. God is still he still loves me. He's still right here. Like I haven't damaged my relationship with God. And so to me that when I think about just the phrase God with us, even outside of the context of Christmas, that's the bigger thing that hits me is like, dude, that's a wow. Like this is a God of grace. This is a God of love.
Right.
So
that's phenomenal. I see. So Ada said on here, lucky for me, God is always with me. A friend told me I always step out in faith, and I'm always all right. I replied, because God is always with me. Yeah, I think that's like part of the understanding that, like, I don't know, there's a lot of people that have, I think actually another friend of ours that we've listened to a ton of teaching and stuff and read books, Andrew Farley. I remember him talking about like God's will and like, how do you step into God's will, and like, there's door A and door B, and you know God's behind one of them. You got to pick the right one.
If you pick the wrong one, you miss God, and you gotta God was over there.
He's like, no. The idea is God's with you, and there's door A and door B, and he's like, where are we going today? Absolutely. You could make a wrong decision.
You can make a bad choice
for sure, but God's with you.
He's with you.
Yeah,
He's with you when you walk through door A or door B.
Right.
Regardless of how good of a decision you made.
Yeah, regardless. Leonardo said, to become a living example of how to love as God on a human level. I think God stepping onto the planet as a human. One of the things I talked about this last week in my sermon was like Jesus being human affirms that we are human and that we're here for a purpose. Like he stepped onto this planet and became a human. It affirms to me like that this is where we're supposed to be. I am a human, and my interaction with humans matters.
Yeah.
And it is part of that. And even further, Jesus talks about how, like in Matthew 25, he talks about like, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me water to drink. And he was like, the people he's talking to are like, what? When did we see you? He said, well, when you fed the least of these, you fed me. And again, like Jesus being human affirms I'm human and I'm supposed to be like that. I'm supposed to be here. And then you get to see it play out in like, hey, when I'm feeding the least of these or when I'm loving the least of these,
I'm encountering
God.
Yeah.
Like on at a human level, I'm encountering like the spirit and the life of God in another person. And
you want to get close to God and know God, like do those things and you are encountering God.
Exactly.
I mean, according to Jesus.
Yeah. What is, I'm sure he knows a little something about that.
DeMarcus said this, God with us really brings comfort to me. It helps me realize that God deeply desires to be along my side. Similar to what Rob said, I don't have to reach for him with all my energy and efforts. He has brought himself close. That's it. When God with us, he has brought himself close.
Yeah.
Right?
That's huge, right? Because it takes the step that a lot of times we've been taught, especially in like kind of religion, right? Like you must do this to get close to God. You must do this to be in better relationship with God. And really the reality is, no, God stepped towards you.
Yeah.
Like real love move closer.
Right. And all of the, it's kind of like, things that we do to get closer to God. Like you must serve, you must pray, you must read your Bible, and all of those things will bring you closer. And no, what those things do is open your eyes to the closeness of God. They open your eyes to how close God is. You become aware of, he's with us. He's here regardless.
Right.
And no matter what we do. But when we do those things, we see the revelation, the truth that the Bible lays out for us. We serve in love and we experience his presence through contact with other people. We spend time in prayer, getting quiet, or making requests known to him and laying it out and trusting him. All of those are ways that we become aware of the closeness of God.
Yeah. I don't know, that the incarnation, like this step into the world as a person, it like how foundational that is and how loving and like real that is. I think kind of like you said, like talking with your Muslim friend who was like, I can't imagine God as a person.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it. Like you can't, like it doesn't in Islam, it doesn't like wrap it that way a lot of times.
Right.
No,
God is he's very lofty and like,
and that's not like just a thing in Islam. Like
no,
in Christianity for the most part,
right.
God is up there and I am here. Like
that's every religion that has a God. They're very distant and very far off and very high up.
Mm-hmm. Leonardo asked a question. He said, "Who am I that God should come to me or meet me where I am?" You want to shoot at that one?
I mean, you're deeply loved by God as a child. You know what I mean? Like it's you're a child of God and he loves you deeply.
Yeah.
And that's who you are.
Yeah. You're I mean,
like who are you? And
at the base at foundation, like you're his creation.
Yeah.
Like
you're his masterpiece is what the Bible calls you.
Yeah, it said like you are the masterpiece. Like that's what you are.
I think
like,
a lot of times,
think about your masterpiece. What does that mean to you?
Right. A lot of times when people ask that question, who am I? What they really are getting at is, what have I done to earn this?
Yeah.
Nothing. But who you are, God loves deeply. You know what I mean? Like you're a child of God. I mean, just like I have my children, and like if my daughter was like, "Why do you love me?" and I'm like, "Well, you're my daughter." Like, I mean, what else?
Because that's who you are.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we can talk about what you've done, and there are things I love that my daughter does, or there are, there are things that I'm like, hey, don't do that. Like,
let's not do that again.
Yeah, but that doesn't ever change, like, the love that I have for her, and so, like, who are we? We're children of God, and I think a lot of times we want to answer that question with, well, you're nothing. God, like God's just good and he loves you. Well, I don't think that's an accurate answer.
Right.
What have you done to earn this love? Nothing.
Yeah. Because nothing was required.
Nothing was required.
Yeah.
Because you're a child of God.
Yep. Marty put in song lyrics, "Who the sun sets free, oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am."
Boom.
She just sang that this last
I
Sunday.
love that song.
Yeah, it's such a good
she
song.
She kills it too.
Time. Is it still up on YouTube, or did you edit today? The worship set. He took it off. All right, we'll put it up. We'll get that one up for sure. Yeah, that's a good. I mean, that reminder that this is who you are. Like you are a child of God, and because of that, like you said, like I love my kids because they're my kids. Mm-hmm. Like the day they were born, I was like, this small human being like has my heart, right?
Yeah.
They didn't do anything. They just laid there and cried.
Right. I mean, think about that. We go. Why does God love me? I mean, think about a baby being born, and instantly you're just like, oh. Not because. I mean, all they've done is cry and poop.
Yeah. And pee.
Which is, maybe an accurate description of the way that we feel about ourselves and our actions. We like all I've done is this and this and this, like is be a mess, and God's just like, oh,
yeah,
it's like oh, I love you so much. Like that's how God feels about us. Jay Patel hopped on here.
Let's go. What's up, Jay Patel? Welcome, sir. Jay, we need to link up with Jay.
I think we need to get an answer from Jay on this question, as long as he's still here. What does the phrase "God with us" mean to you? Jay always has good answers. Hopefully he didn't just accidentally click on our video and then.
And he's like, "Oh, never mind." Like, oh man, when you do that and you click on somebody's live, you're like, "Oh, man. I didn't mean to do that."
Oh, he's still here.
All right, good stuff. Judy, I saw Daisy hopped on here too. Judy and Daisy, welcome. Judy just said he covers us with a blanket of grace because of his never-ending love for us. Boom. I love the blanket of grace. Like just seems so cozy.
Because you're all up in it.
Yeah, just when I'm cold, I'm covered. Love it. What for those of you that just got here, we set up a way that we can text you. That we want to be able to text with you and have a conversation with you. I already saw Deb actually text. I saw she's been texting, so I replied to her. She replied to me.
Nice.
Like super cool. You'll get an initial text. It's like, hey, thanks for texting us. Make sure you click this so that we can put you in our contacts. So I have you on my phone.
Yeah, but we also have the ability to just text you and have a conversation.
Yeah, we can text right with you. And
this is just the most reliable form of communication that we have today, I think.
And like we said, the goal is for us to just be able to talk with you. And then also like, hey, every once in a while, like the Holy Spirit might drop a little nugget and we're like, hey, we need to get this out to the people. And so we'll text it or send videos or whatever, like short videos. So that'd be cool. Jay said, wrestling with this idea right now, to be honest. I think the theological answer is, and he must have hit enter. ... Yeah. I love it. I love that you like wrestling with the idea. I love that.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do here. We wrestle with the ideas.
Yeah, and honestly, like when the time I got to know Jay the best is when we went to camp. We got to ride together. We had some talks. And I'll tell you where Jay blows my mind is that there are things that I just think are assumptions. You know what I mean? Like I'll be talking about and I'll be explaining something. We'll just be in this like deep conversation and I'll be just talking about something that I don't think is really important. And he'll just stop me and go like, what do you mean by that? Like, I can't think of like a direct phrase,
right.
But something so simple and he'll go, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, well, I don't know, like what, what are you doing to me? But he does wrestle with these things like that, these deep ideas.
He's a thinker, and
he is, man.
DeMarcus is the same. DeMarcus says the same thing where DeMarcus asks those deep questions. I think they both
You know, you know what DeMarcus does so well too is he could like disagree with you so strongly, and the way he'll approach that is he'll go, "Hey, you said this. Why do you what is it that made you believe that?" Or like that's even more confrontational than the way he phrases it. Yeah. You know, he'll be like, "Oh man, thanks for that answer. What like, can you tell me like where that came from?" Or like just like definitely in a way that just makes you feel like, "Oh, we're having a conversation here."
Yeah. I don't think he disagrees with me.
Never.
Yeah, we're DeMarcus said Jay is the king of. Can you talk about that a little more?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good questions. Can you expound on that a bit? I think they're leaving. So what do you guys think? God with us. What does that phrase mean to you? Also, if you see it on the screen, that number right there, text us. We'll text you back. This is so we can text you like in the future. Not just right now.
Yeah, we're gonna text you throughout the week some like encouraging things, quick little notes, quick little encouragements, stuff like that. So
yeah,
and you can always opt out if you don't like it.
It'll be fun.
Just go. These guys are annoying. Stop.
We won't be annoying.
We won't be annoying. It'll be good stuff.
When are we ever annoying? Never. I feel like Jay like left us hanging. Speaking of, can you talk about that a little bit more? Did I miss his reply?
No, he did come back, said accidentally hit enter. He's still typing probably.
Okay. Deb said, yeah, she's in North Dakota. So that's great. I want to go to North Dakota. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
I think I've got a friend in North Dakota, actually. In South Dakota. I think he's in South Dakota. Ryan Callahan?
Oh, yeah.
He's in Dakota. He's in one of the Dakotas. I don't know. If it's not Texas, I get confused.
Is there a big rivalry between like North and South Dakota? Maybe Deb can help us out with that.
I don't know.
Is there like those North Dakotans, they don't know, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
South Dakotans way down there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you call them Dakotans?
Yeah, Dakotans.
Dakotans.
Is it like North and South Korea? I hear they don't like each other. Is it the same?
Or they're like, it's like us, like you and me, North and South, like us against everybody else.
Yeah, we're the Dakotas.
Montana's lame.
Yeah. I don't know. We need to go. We need to get out. We should do a road trip. What have we been doing?
Road trip.
If we didn't have a combined like 11 children between the two of us, we probably could have taken a road trip at some point during this pandemic and just shot videos from North Dakota and I don't know, Idaho, other states I haven't been to. That'd have been fun. DeMarcus, you should go on a road trip and shoot. I was gonna say commercials, but shoot sermons. Like, where are you going? That's not a road trip, bro. That's still in Texas.
DeMarcus is going to Big Ben. It's like so far away.
It is a long way.
You're still in Texas.
Like, are you driving?
Yeah. Colorado. He's
okay.
going to Colorado.
15 people? Are you all going in a 15-passenger van? Yeah. That's a lot of, like, that's packed, dude. Where are you going to put your luggage?
Supposedly there's space in the back.
Nobody, there's not.
I said the same thing, but we'll find out.
We drove 15-passenger vans to camp. There's not enough luggage for 15 people in a 15-passenger
You're going to
van.
be putting stuff under seats and everything.
You need a trailer.
Oh, you're riding shotgun. It doesn't matter.
Shotgun and driving.
Oh, yeah. So DeMarcus is a driver and front seat passenger. So
Jay texted me. He said he's working on his response, putting his thoughts together. Jay, we're out of here at 5, bro.
See that, and that's what I'm talking about, dude. With Jay, like he always takes it deeper, right? Like
always.
You could just be like, "Hey, we're here," and Jay's like, "No, we're not. We're."
Yep. No. Marty said, in the simplest form, I think it just means that he never leaves us, no matter how far we might feel from God. Due to our junk, he is still with us.
Love it.
Leonardo said road trips, a.k.a. Rona trips. Nah, man, you can be safe. You can be safe on a Rona trip. Ada said, I'm excited about December 13th, worship night.
Hey.
Let's go. Yeah, we got a worship night here. December 13th, we're doing an outdoor worship night with coffee and hot chocolate,
Yeah.
and
We'll be
and
distanced.
we'll
with,
be socially
with
distanced
masks.
and wearing masks, and we're gonna do
And-
some worshiping outdoors because it finally got cool here. So hey, Leonardo, December 13th, you want to come to San Antonio? Come to a worship night.
Come on.
Let's go.
Do it.
You and Erica, come on.
Do it.
Speaking of a road trip, you won't. I bet you won't. We could probably fly you. He didn't say anything. Bet you won't. Did we get Jay's reply?
Not yet.
Jay, send like half of it.
Send us what you got.
He's still there, it says. Can I bring him on screen?
Hey, let's go back to the like second question. How long does it take you to respond to text messages?
Don't say that, because Jay's going to call me out, because Jay will be one of the ones that texts me and I take forever to reply. In fact,
Do you have a lingering text?
I
from
have
Jay?
now that I say that, I have a lingering text from Jay. From Sunday, November 22nd at 9:22, he messaged me and I never replied.
Some of us really hate lingering text because we overthink everything. And Jay's
My
such a
bad,
deep
Jay.
thinker.
My bad. Jay knows it. Like, I hate it. I'm a terrible friend. He'll text, or Jay will call me and I'll be like, "Hey, bro, I gotta go take care of the kids real quick. I'll call you back," and then I just forget. I'm terrible.
All right, here's Jay's answer.
Okay.
I think the theological answer is that God is forever present, always with us through his Spirit. I think we all know the theological answer. I think the struggle for me is how God lives in and through his people and how he manifests himself through people. Yet people seem not to be with us at times. Like God is always with us, but how come his people aren't? And that will wrap up the chat for today.
Hey, Jay, can you talk about God is always with us, but his people seem to not be with us? Can you talk about that a little bit more? What do you mean by like his people seem to not be with us? Talk about that a little bit more. Let's expound on that. Jenny Johnson said, "I am so excited about worship night." Me too. I don't know if you guys know this. Oh, nobody knows this, but I'm going to put it out there. Oh, Leonard just said, "LOL, I can't." Birthday celebrations in San Antonio, bro. Let's go. Whose birthday is it? Who do we need to bring to San Antonio? Here's the exciting news. I got to get back to that. They mentioned worship night, and now I got some exciting news for you. This Sunday morning, December 6th, as a lead into December 13th worship night, we have a very special guest worship leader.
Oh, no.
Rob Clark.
Yeah, no.
Rob Clark, let's go.
I was like, what is he even talking about? Like, guess worship?
Rob and Marty did a little worship leading this week for our Sunday service. And so, hey, you made big time now. You're on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so this Sunday, don't miss it. Rob's leading worship. Come hang out.
I did it.
You did it.
A song.
What?
That was a reference from a movie that was apparently before your time.
I missed it. I just thought he was cussing. I was like, all right. I didn't think it was that bad. Monty said we should have Jay call in. All right.
For sure.
Jay, can you call in? Let me text him. See if I can put on. I'm on the Roadcaster.
Okay. Yeah, we should be good.
Let's see.
I'll see if Jay calls, because I have some thoughts there too, and it's easy. Oh no, I'll just let Jay go.
Taylor Campbell's on here. He's on YouTube. He said I second that. Good stuff, Jay. I'll just call him.
There you go. You're coming on.
Yo.
Hey, turn on Bluetooth. Is it up? All right, you're on live. That's how it works.
I'm on live right now.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, cool.
Is it echoing?
No, not for me. That's can y'all hear me? Like,
It sounds good in my ears.
Yeah.
oh,
Maybe
word.
turn him down a little bit.
Let me see how it sounds on my phone.
He's
All right,
gonna.
cool.
What's
I'm on
up?
live right now.
Yeah, you're live. Just
Oh, word. All right, cool. What's up?
Oh, I need to. I know
is
what's
it
going on.
echoing?
Hang
I
on.
think we're cool.
No, not for me. That's
There we go. I got to close out. There we go. So I need you to stay on the. Are you still there, Jay?
yeah, I'm right
All
here.
right, cool. Yeah, it was echoing from my YouTube on my phone.
Oh, word.
All right, so yeah, rather than you having to just type it, and now we're just
Yeah.
gonna get you like your answer on the spot. Like what
Yeah,
when you say, let me see it. When you say, God. I think the struggle for me is how God lives in and through His people, and how He manifests Himself through people. Yet
Yeah.
people seem to not be with us, and you put that in quotes at times.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, I put it in quotes just because, like, referencing the idea of God with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm trying to like correlate the two ideas.
Right.
No, I definitely think I'm speaking more from like, probably more of like raw emotions that I'm still processing through just from like recent experiences that I've had,
Mm-hmm.
through like people in church, which you know about, you and I talk about a lot. But I think, maybe because this is probably one of the first times I've experienced like church hurt. So,
Yeah.
The people who have like, we talk about like God being with us, especially in this time of like Christmas and Emmanuel and like all that stuff is good. I think my struggle has been like the practical, because you're like, it's one thing to like think it. It's another thing to experience it, right?
Right.
So I think this is probably the struggle in some capacity for everybody. But how do we, like, when we go through a difficult experience, whether it be with, like, for instance, like with Christians, right? And with maybe even church leaders or something like that, who would tell you, hey, God's with you, God's with you, God's with you, God's with us. Yet there can be this disconnect at times because like people can hurt us. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
So I think for me, I'm like, yeah, you say that or we say that, but how do we experience that? Like, what does that look like? I think I'm probably looking for more like a practical understanding. I definitely understand. I definitely think many of us have like at least somewhat of like a theological understanding, like, hey, God's always with you no matter what, type of thing, which is very true. I'm not taking away from that. I think for me, I'm like, well, what does that look like? Especially when trust has been broken, or especially when you face like difficult times, or you have even questions that you probably don't have answers to. So how do you experience that God's presence with us in those moments? It's very broad, but that's kind of essentially what I was getting at.
Yeah. And those are the times where like it's okay to have times where like you don't feel it. And that's faith, right? If we always felt it, if we always were experienced, like if we always had that real life feeling, that real life experience, that very tangible, like, man, I just am feeling God with us. There would be no faith involved. And that's, I'll share a quick story for me that's a little bit different than yours, Jay. But when I went through cancer and I started chemo, I felt so horrible. There were times where I would like pray, and times where I would even like just put on worship music, and it was like I was just dead. Like zero feel. People would come over to my house and like pray for me and zero feeling, like dead, like just nothing. And in that moment, I knew, like, man, God's with me. God loves me. Even like the verse, like so many people quoted to me, "Hey, God works all things for good." And I'm like, I wasn't mad about it. I was just like, okay, like, okay, and that was a season I went through. And, I definitely wouldn't say this, here's how it works. But for me, my experience was, I went through that period where I felt nothing. I felt horrible. There was like, I didn't feel God at all. And people were even doing all the good things. They were praying and bringing things and helping my family and like all these things. They were doing all the things. I felt nothing. Even in their best efforts, in all the things that you expect and want from people. And so I can't even imagine when it's like, hey, this is not what I expect or want from people. But I had zero feeling. And then I just had a moment where it was like, boom, it was back. And to me, it was like, it even like had like a physical like manifestation for me, where it's like, I feel again. And like, God is with me again. And so, I don't know, Jay, I think for you, like there's a season, man. And this is a season of faith. And, based on my experience, I don't expect that to be like super comforting to you. I think maybe you're just you're in this sort of valley, man, like spiritually, because that's what happens when we're hurt. And it's hard, dude. But I also fully believe that, like, we come out of our valleys. We come out of these times that feel just dead. And that was my experience, is that I've had that, like, just, I felt nothing. I feel disappointed. I feel it just, not even disappointed. I just felt like nothing. Just emotionally and spiritually, I felt dead. But it came back, that sort of tangible, like, awareness, and not even, I don't know if it was awareness, because I was always aware, but I wasn't feeling it at all. So it came, I came out of it. And that's totally natural, especially when you go through times where people that you trust, disappoint you, or hurt you. We've all been through that, and it's like, it never feels good to be hurt, with people that you expect to stand by you, and you think they're with you in it all, and you come to find out, like, no,
not really.
Not really. Yeah.
Not really. Yeah.
Well, and I think, on top of that, like, you've got the, like you said, like the theological answer of like, God is with us, right? But then, like, at times we look at like God's people and it doesn't feel like they are. But also, that's not all God's people too, right? So like, it is this personal representation of Jesus, right? So like, I can say there's people in my life that are Christians, and I think love God, and I think know who God is, that are not always the safest people for me to be around. And then there are people that, it's discernment, right? And then there's people in my life that are incredible people that I can trust with me, and I do experience God through them in different ways. And even, like, I kind of mentioned earlier when Jesus said, like, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me water. When I think he says, when I was naked, you clothed me. And I don't think that's like our salvation. I don't, like, none of that is built on salvation, because that would negate grace. But I think what that is like, as Christ is represented in and through us, there is that loving of people, but that doesn't always happen. Like, we're still, I think what we kind of talked about yesterday, like, in the office, we were talking about how, like, every person has their own thing going on. It's their own journey. And like, they may, like, we don't know what what has brought them to where they are right now, or what they're working through in their own life, or
Yeah.
what they're like.
Mm.
And so I don't know, we can get to a point where it's like, yeah, of course they don't get it, because they're not there yet. Like they don't, and I don't.
Well, they're not where I am.
They're not where I am. Yeah.
You know, I mean, like if
And not like it's I'm here and they're here. It's like I'm on this path and they're on this path.
yeah, of course they don't see what I see.
Yeah.
You know, they're a different person and they've had totally different life experiences, and I think that's it. That's a way that God with us begins to mean something very when we get more introspective with it, because we go, I only see what I see, and they see something totally different, or they're just in a different place, so it looks different to them. And also, sometimes people just make mistakes, and a lot of times that's built on not trusting that closeness with God, not trusting that you are free to just like love, and you don't have to be afraid of like the repercussions of loving a person. And you know,
When I've been Jay and I have had this conversation, so it's like something that I've wrestled with recently, that I'm still kind of wrestling through and talk through, like even like listening to us. And Jay, you're probably hearing this and I can imagine you thinking this. A lot of our answers were like, well, we're on our own journeys.
mm-hmm.
It's very introspective. But what you've brought up to me before is like, yeah, but Christianity is not just an individual thing. Like when you look at it as a whole, like Jesus was like, he talked about like, as a whole, like how do we operate together?
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, there's the body of Christ, right?
Right.
And I mean, the accomplishment of the cross, even though it's very personal, it's also very broad.
yeah. But even like our life with Christ isn't individualistic, right? It's not an individual thing. It is a communal thing. And so I think Jesus talks a lot, like when you see how he operates and what he talks about, it, like throughout the Gospels, like it is very communal. And so when within that community, if things feel out of whack, it is like if we're the body of Christ, like, man, my shoulder hurts. It doesn't, like something doesn't feel right,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and
Right.
so I don't want to negate the idea that like, man, like it's okay because they're on their own journey. It's okay if you were hurt. Like that's not okay.
Just wanted
Ever.
to Jose's on, and he has some stuff to say.
Jose,
You want me to read it?
yeah, sure.
So Jose, and dude, what's up, Jose? I think we haven't chatted with Jose in a minute.
Yeah.
So Jose says, I would say it's okay to hope in man, but only have faith in God. And I that kind of goes into like what we were talking about yesterday. I forgot the words we used. There was like two different words, like being certain and being confident, like confident and certain. You know, like we can even be confident in people, but certain. I mean, that just reminded me of that it's okay to hope in man, but only have faith in God. Man was made in his image, but not equal. We are imperfect flesh. Definitely agree. You never know what internal battle leaks into one's outward actions. You need to be mindful of people's circumstances. And I think that's the grace that we're afforded and equipped. Like when we realize our completeness in Christ and our closeness to God. Like when I focus on my closeness to God, and in spite of like my failures, you know, and realizing God is still close, I'm afforded the ability for somebody to be hurtful toward me. You know what I mean? And to have grace for them in those things. And
It is hard in that point though, because you're asking the person that's been hurt, like to be like, hey, like it's okay. Like they're like, does that make sense? Am I?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like what you're saying, like I think we just have to, like, I think we have to be sensitive, like, and cautious towards people's hurt, because I think it's definitely like forgiveness is definitely important. Grace is definitely important. But I think for the hold on, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
So while he's out,
my bad. My wife came in all loud.
Ooh, your wife.
That's right.
She's all wifed up.
That's right. No, I hear y'all. I think there's definitely good advice there. I definitely think those are good things to wrestle with, at least for me. Like, yes, we're individuals, but we're part of a collective and part of a whole, which therefore I think makes, like, I think that even proves like why life, like, kind of thinking about this idea, but like the idea of life being so sacred is because like, well, our trust is valuable. You know what I mean? Like, I think when your trust becomes broken, you realize how valuable your trust is. And that's like one way of learning. I'm not saying you need to have broken trust in order to learn that it's valuable. Like, unfortunately, I think the world just does that. Like, we just walk through life and like things just happen. You're like, oh wow, it's important for me to be wise with who I trust. So I think it goes hand in hand. Like, I definitely think there's the individual side and then there's this like collective, because we are like, as the body, like if like, and I think for me, it's like living this identity out more, right? Like, hey, if I'm fully secure, then why not be fully available to other people, even if that means other people's hurts and pains and traumas and experiences. You know what I mean?
Well, like their insecurities, their, you know, like there's so much that goes into like what causes us to, you know, behave in ways that are not necessarily Christ-like. You know, it's not just our hurts, but it's insecurities and doubts and pressures that we sometimes receive from the outside world. I mean, like, as a pastor, I think sometimes we feel pressure to, you know, make our church this or run this program or do this thing or
have all the answers. Yeah,
and that's why people get chewed up and spit out by churches, because like, hey, our mission is to love God and love people, and you're in our way. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
And so we miss it. We miss the person who's directly in front of us, and that just comes from receiving this pressure, really, from the outside world, or comparing to other churches, or and the church becomes a place of hurt versus a place of, you know, nurturing and discipleship and love and understanding. But there's a lot of pressure.
I mean, I've only been a pastor for like 11 months. I'm not even a pastor, technically a minister. But I can see, like, if we're in roles of like spiritual leadership, regardless of what that looks like, that could be in a household or that could be vocational, doesn't matter. But like learning how to take care of yourself, and learning, like, I think like the care that we need to give to the, like, our spiritual leaders, you know what I mean? Because they're the ones who are impacting us and influencing us, you know? And that's something I've been thinking about. And it's actually something, in regards to like individual and collective, I was listening to a TED Talk the other day, and oftentimes we kind of approach people with like, hey, if you take care of me, I'll take care of you. But I think another way to think about this is I'll take care of me for you and you take care of you for me. Does that make sense? And I think that's the way, like, because our individual experiences and our journeys do matter, but it's always, and I think Darcy does a good job of saying this and living this out, it's always for the other person. It's not merely for ourselves. So if we do a good job of taking care of us for others, and we ask people to do the same, then I think that's like one step towards understanding community better, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Trying to look, Ada.
We have a few comments. I would like a little example of that within my own family. You know, not too long ago, I noticed my health was not good, and it was causing me to be like tired all the time, and I'm not available to my kids, you know? And so I had to take care of me to be available to them. And I think like that just works also on a spiritual level, you know, like you have to take care of yourself. You have to keep yourself healthy. You have to deal with your hurts and insecurities, you know, like those things have to, otherwise they're going to come out in some other way. You know, like you can take them out and unpack them yourself, or they're going to find their way out.
Right. Yeah, Leonardo said, I literally said that to Erica the other day. He said, I will take care of me for you, and you take care of you for me.
That's cool.
And I think that's the way to embrace, like, respecting our own, like I said, respecting ourselves while respecting others. Like, it's not an either or. Like, maybe it can be a both and maybe that's a way to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said when you're on an airplane, if the cabin pressure drops, you put the mask on yourself first, then others, or you're practically useless. And I think at times, like, people can look at that and think like, oh, they're just selfish. It's like, well, no, if I'm dead, I can't help you. And so, I mean, like, just to, like, you were talking about like spiritual leaders or pastors and stuff, like, just to kind of like to take that mindset. Like, a lot of times pastors don't take care of themselves.
No, because they're sacrificing and sacrificing and we see that as this is the only way for me to love is to sacrifice myself, you know. And
it just there's no self-care, because you feel like, and especially if you're in a place where, like, I don't know, your belief in like what you're supposed to do for God is in a bad place, where like you think that you've got to be perfect for God, or you've got to do more for God, and like then you just go, and that, like, and so we see pastors who have like mental health issues that happen, or like, I mean, even recently, like moral failures, like Carl Lentz's moral failure, like when he put his apology out, he was like, I didn't take care of myself.
Yeah.
I just went. And I think a lot of times we don't do that. We don't take care of ourselves. And I like what Leonardo said, like, if I don't put my mask on when the cabin pressure drops, I'm useless for you.
Yeah.
And just like if I don't take care of my mental health, I'm useless for you, because you're not getting the healthiest version. Like, you're getting, a lot of times in that, you're getting like the flesh version of Chad, like what I can muster up, because I'm not taking care of myself.
Well, and I think what Ada said here ties into all this. I think it's okay to just sit with the hurting person too.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that's all people need. And I think that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, when I was going through chemo, I just feel like, even though I wasn't feeling anything, I knew it was kind of like God was just sitting with me, you know? And it wasn't that I had this overwhelming peace. I felt nothing. But I look at it and it's like, man, he was just chilling with me, just waiting. You know what I mean? Like, I had to go through this time. It was going to be difficult. It was going to be discouraging.
Right.
But he was sitting with me, just like waiting until it was time, till I was ready. And I think that's it, man.
Yeah.
A couple of comments. DeMarcus said it's a very difficult conundrum to wrestle with, to deal with hurt caused by other people, while also remembering that those same individuals have issues and things they're dealing with as well,
right?
Which inevitably leak out in their words or actions. And then Jose responded to that, said, vicious cycle, why the world needs Jesus more than ever.
Yeah, and I've got Taylor. I think Taylor's responding to Leonardo said the Great Spirit is all inclusive, which the Great Spirit is how Leonardo refers to the Spirit, God. I love it, actually. But Taylor said, yes, all inclusive. God is love. Love is with us, and love must be and truly is all inclusive.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay, are we still on the phone? We are, right?
Yeah,
I'm
chilling him right here.
We're gonna have to hop off. I don't know why the computer's plugged in, but it's dying. So it says battery is not charging. Something's happening with that.
Well, thanks for having me on, y'all. I appreciate it.
Bro, we love you, man.
Always, man.
I wish you were down the street, but we miss you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell Pri we said hi, and I'm sure she's exhausted. But
yeah, she just got home, so
tell her we said thanks for all her hard work.
Yeah.
Priyanka's a resident right now doing the Lord's work in the hospitals during this crazy time. So
That's right.
Priyanka, there you go.
Hey,
Tell her we
that's
said
right.
we love her and really appreciate both you guys for all that you're doing.
Yeah, man.
And Jay, what's the publication you're working for now before we hop off here? We'll plug them. How about that?
I work for an organization called PAX. Their website is madeforpax.org, but it's a Christian nonprofit. It's focused on Gen Z millennials, especially Christians of color, as we navigate kind of our own unique struggles and challenges, and even like focusing on like peace, justice, and wholeness. So
what's the website again?
Yeah, madeforpax.org.
PAX, PACS?
No, PAX.
PAX.
Yeah, it's a Latin word for peace.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Madeforpax.org. Got it. Cool, man. We love you. Thanks for calling.
Yes.
And,
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. I'll holler at you.
For sure. Peace.
Later. That was our buddy Jay Patel. He's in Houma, Louisiana. It's a big city of Houma. So, all right. I think we've been on here a minute, but hey, if you just got on here, if you haven't yet, shoot us a text. We will text you back. 210-794-8962. Let's connect. Make sure you hit the little link so we can put you in our contacts on our phone, and we can reply to you. So love you guys. We hope you have an incredible week. We'll see you Sunday.
Tune in 15 minutes late.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
No, don't do that. Rob is leading. We got a special worship leader. Rob is leading worship for one of the songs this week, him and Marty. So do not miss that. Ada said, thank you, Jay Taylor. But the Christian culture, let's see where it said all inclusive, but the Christian culture is exclusive. You got to be this or that. You can't do this or that. You can't look like this or that. You can't be yourself. He's like, it's got to change. I'm with you, Taylor. That's what we're trying to do around here. Is hopefully be a
come
voice
hang out
in that. You know Taylor. That's Taylor Campbell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I wasn't.
I was
like, hey.
No, that was like in general.
Oh, he said. That being said, Arsenal's not that way. The Arsenal's doing it right, preaching it, living it, all inclusive. Thanks, man. Didn't see the pics comment. Thank you. All right, we love you guys. We're gonna hop off here because my computer's at 5% and it's just gonna die.
We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for being here, Leo. Come
Sunday.
hang out, bro. Get out here soon.
Yeah, you tell us when you can make it down.
Yeah, we'll do a worship night for Leonardo. How about that?
And he can do live reviews to live music.
Yes, I'll even lead a worship song just for that. But all right, love you guys. We will holler at you later. So this concludes the chat. Goodbye.